Welcome everybody. Welcome to another one. Thank you so much for tapping in. Please go ahead and hit the like button, hit the notification bell as well, and also share. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It helps in the platform. For those of you that's already subscribed, thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated and is never to be forgotten. Folks, we on part 8. We on part 8. We getting through this. I don't know how you feel. I know how I feel about these series that I'm doing right now. It's very dear to me. Is my truth. So I make sure I live in it. I don't shy away from it. How you feeling? Tell me how you feeling. Put it in the comment section. How you feeling about the series? Tell me what you're getting from it. What you would like to see, whatever critique you have. Let's talk about it. Let's chat. We family here, right? So we on part 8. Man, I'm at a tough point right now in my life, because I'm back in prison and I'm dealing with the unknown right now. I really don't know, what God has in store for me, but I'm hoping it's something that either can free me or get me some real light where I can walk up out of here, So anyway, my attorney, my lawyer came back to, he came to visit me. They called me down for the attorney visit, and he had some of the discovery, meaning some of the evidence and things like that that the government had on me, or what they would be presenting to trial, if what I mean, I took the route to go to trial. So we going over certain things, just briefly breezing over certain things. He's explaining what this means, what this is right here, what that is right here, and so forth. But he's instructing me that we're not going to go over every particular detail right now. What I want you to do, he's telling me this, is I want you to go back, review everything, and then when I come back up to see you, maybe next week sometime, we can discuss what you want to do moving forward, whether you want to try the case, whether you're looking for a plea deal or whatnot. You let me know. He said, but before we start, I have to let you know, I'm not being disrespectful. He said, I have to let you know, as I let all my clients know, the government is inquiring whether you are willing to cooperate or not to help yourself out. I said, well, look, you brought me to discovery, right? I'm going to go back and review the discovery. But the one thing that we're not going to do, or we're not going to consider, or we're not going to entertain is cooperation. So you don't have to ask me that again. You don't have to question whether I was confused about your question. We can just move forward with something else. But that part is off the table. He said, understood, respected. We won't go down that road no more. So, and then he explained to me, he said, you did have a question about that mandatory minimum because of the firearm. He said, yes, you do. Yes, you are facing a mandatory minimum of 15 years because you have 3 qualifying past convictions that will qualify you under the Armed Career Criminal Act. It's called ACCA, right? And what that means is that you have a mandatory minimum. Minimum means the least amount of time that the judge can give you will be 15 years, right? He said, in your instance, you're not interested in cooperating, so that's the minimum that you're facing. When all else fails, that's the least amount of time that I can negotiate for you, or that the judge can even consider giving to you if he wants to be light on you. I'm like, all right, let's I said, well, did you review the material that you're giving me right now? He said, I breezed over it very quickly. We have time to prepare whatever we need to prepare. I got other clients that I'm working with right now, so I just want to come and deliver it to you, give you an opportunity to review it, and then the following week or so when I come back, we can have a further discussion on what is the plan moving forward. So you know what, I like that. I respect that. We'll do that. So, he left. I went back upstairs and, I'm back in my cell, man. At the time I had a cellmate. It was a little young white kid, real respectful, real cool, he didn't play the cell a lot, meaning he wasn't in the cell a lot, so it gave me time to kind of review the material with a peace of mind and, no disturbance at all. So, not that I mind him coming in and out the cell, he's in the cell too, so he's free to come in and out, but, you know, we discussed what I'm dealing with, in terms of my case, and, he was in there for something. I think it was possession of a couple bags of weed or something like that, which, whatever. He probably get probation, a year probation, whatever the case is. So he understands that he wants to just be out of my way and give me all the space that I need. So, shout out to him. I was respectful for him to do that. So I'm reviewing the paperwork, family, and looking at, the sales they said they got me on. I'm like, okay. And, I just want to mention this, right? About a woman's intuition, right? They are created with an intuition that men just don't have. Maybe they do, but we just don't tap into that side at all. Maybe we don't care to, or maybe we don't pay much attention to it. But the woman has an intuition where they can sense danger before it hits, long before it hits. And a lot of times they warn us about these things, but when we in the streets, we might hear what they say, but we're not really listening to what they say, and there's a big difference between the two, right? So, I'm going over the 3 sales that they say they got me on, the 3 buys, and I'm kind of remembering everything about those occasions that took place. That's reflected in the discovery that I have, and I could remember clearly. It was a guy. I'm not going to waste time saying names and all. It's no need to. Whatever. They know who they are. Cool. So I remember this person I dealt with for some time. A few weeks, months. Maybe 2 months. And they getting for me, buying for me. Street dude. This ain't even a user. This is a street dude. You understand what I'm saying, fam? This is a street dude that's coming, grabbing for me, making his little points, and then, when he done, come back, grab more, whatever the case is. So it was a certain pattern with him, right? Whenever I, did in business with him, he would always get in the car. We'll kind of, take a ride somewhere, you know what I mean? Maybe 20 minutes and do what we got to do. And then, I drop him off at a different location. But it was this one time, actually, the first buy they said, that they said they had me on, is that this guy didn't want to get in the car. I had a female in the passenger seat, riding with me. This is the one that went to the grand jury and all that. We get to that discussion a little later in the series. But he reached inside the passenger side and was trying to reach over to me to give me the money. And I'm like, he holding up traffic, his car's behind, beeping their horn. I'm like, yo, look, jump in the car, man. He's like, yo, I'm in a rush, I got something to do. I said, bro, jump in the car, because you holding up the traffic, right? He said, I can't right now, I gotta be in and out. So I'm like, all right, I tell her, yes, I said, grab that money, she grab the money, I give her the stuff, I pass that to him. I said, damn, bro, you moving sloppy. He like, my bad, man. I'm just in a rush, man. My fault, man. It won't happen no more. Cool. I pulls off, you know what I mean? We end up going to Walmart, because we had to get some things at Walmart. So we went to Walmart. And on the way there, she's telling me, she's like, yo, babe, look, it's something about him. I don't know. Something don't feel right about him. I'm like, what you mean? I deal with him all the time. You stretching it a little bit. She's like, I don't think I am. I could be, but I don't think I am. He just, he gave me a certain feeling. The way he was acting, it was just, I don't know. He just wasn't acting. I said, you don't even know him. She said, I don't have to know him. He's just acting a little weird, and all I'm telling you is just be careful with him. I'm like, all right, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not really listening. I'm just saying it, and in my mind, I'm like, man, you just hating. You know what I mean? You don't want me talking to nobody. You know how we get as men. We think that, everybody hating on us, especially when we in the game and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like, blowing it off. So, the second sale, we met up at another location. I had the same female with me, and, the same kind of thing. Like, he don't want to get in the car. And I'm like, yo, bro, listen, check this out. You either get in the car or this over with. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. I appreciate your business, but I'm good. Regardless if you do business with me or not, I'm all the way good. So he like, all right, I'm gonna jump in. So he jumps in, and I drive about maybe 4 or 5 blocks, pull into an alleyway, do what I gotta do. He gets out. I say, y'all, just get out right here. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to really drop you off nowhere. So he gets out, and she like, see, that's what I'm telling you. I'm like, telling me what? Why he keep acting like he don't want to get in the car? You said every time you dealt with him, he got in the car. Why he don't want to? I said, look, I don't know. I'm too busy right now. I don't really have time to figure out why he not getting in the car. Signs and symbols for the wide awake man, right? Right? Intuition of the female trying to let me know something, but I'm so caught up in my own thoughts thinking that I got everything figured out. Unbeknownst to me, I'm being lined up for the kill. So anyway, the final sale, I'm by myself. So I'm like, I'm not really going to take her with me because she throw me off, throw my mental off. I don't want to be in a state of paranoia. I'm relaxed. I like to just lay back and just, do me. I don't want to be paranoid because the way my mind works, when I get paranoid, I got to attack in order to bring the paranoia down. That's the way I operate. It's not good. It's not the right way to operate. But at that particular time, that's, how I was moving. Like, if I'm paranoid and to the point where I can't function, I got to take care of this right now. I got to get this out the way. That way I can move on with my day. So, third sale, he came, he jumped in, but, dropped him off, and nonetheless. So they got me on these 3 buys, family. You know what I mean? And, the whole time after these particular buys, they're following me. I don't notice. Because once again, when you in the underworld selling drugs, right? You think you're paying attention to everything. You think that you're on point, and you may be on point to a certain extent. I'm not going to just say you just riding around oblivious to what's around you. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying, you are not aware of your total surroundings because you done scored a nice little lick. You feeling yourself. You got the female in the passenger seat with you. That's really boosting up your ego. You think you're the man. You know how I go. If you was involved in that lifestyle. So, they got me on that. They got me on these 3 sales, right? So they follow me after each sale. The reason why they're following me is that they don't have an address on me or a location where they believe all the drugs are at. So they follow me trying to get a location, but it just so happened. I don't know if it was the universe helping me, which I don't think, because I'm involved in something I ain't supposed to be involved in. So I doubt that the universe is helping me. I don't know. Maybe not, but I doubt it. So coincidentally enough, every time after each sale they followed me, I was going somewhere else. I never went back home because I didn't go home until later on that evening because I lived in another town over somewhere. You know what I mean? I didn't live in the town where I was, hustling at. So, they couldn't find out where I lived at or where my stash house was at. All this is in the discovery. But the thing that I realized in the discovery is that they didn't have anything recorded. I mean, anything. No, my phone wasn't tapped. You know, that conversation wasn't recorded. You know, they might have been, they gave the informant their phone to make the call to me, but there was no recording of those calls, right? There was no video surveillance. I mean, family, listen to this. You know, whether you was in the street or not, just tell me what makes sense to you. Put it in the comment section. Tell me what makes sense to you or not. If you saying that you got me on 3 buys, 3 sales, right? Wouldn't you think that they will have some type of surveillance? Okay, we got him right here, recorded on this such date at such time. We have the recording of the conversation between him and the confidential source, you know, pertaining to these sales. They didn't have any of that. The only thing that they had, according to what I'm reading, is that the detective, you know, was maybe a block and a half down the street using binoculars. I'm not, you know, tech savvy. I don't know if they make binoculars that record. I'm not too sure, but, you know, based on, you know, when I used to watch a lot of TV, the A-Team, you know, Magnum P.I., MacGyver, all those different shows, I never seen where they had binoculars that actually record. Now they just, they is an actual, you know, image right there that they're looking at. There's no recording. So in my mind, I'm like, they ain't got nothing. As much as they think they ain't got nothing. You know what? I'm making my decision. I can't wait till the lawyer come back up and we're going to have a long discussion. At least minimum an hour. We're going to be in there and we getting down to business. Wouldn't you say the same thing? I don't know. Put it in the comment section. But I'm just telling you where my mind was at that particular time. So I kind of put the paperwork away. I'm like, they ain't got nothing. I'm ready to rock and roll. We're going to continue in part 9, family. We're going to continue in part 9 of this journey. You know, I'm going to share some of the experiences I had at, you know, Lehigh County Prison and things like that. And, you know, we're going to go into some things, but not every particular detail because certain things, you know, just don't want to be putting out there, if you know what I mean. Right? So that's it for this part right here. We're going to deal with the next part. You know, when I get on here, I hope that what I share was some good information for you. Follow the journey. Follow the journey because I'm doing this journey in hopes that the next brother or sister doesn't follow my journey because I'm going to give you the complete end game in hopes that you don't follow along. That's my biggest reason for doing this series, you know. It's not about money, you know, although if I get paid, hey, man, I'm not going to turn it down, but that's not what I'm in it for. I'm in it for something bigger than money. And I will hope that you will support that, you know, get behind that. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you liked, you know, the video that you just watched or viewed, go ahead and hit the like button and share with your friends and family. So I'm out of here right now, family. Just for a brief moment, I'm going to leave you as I always do. Remember, your potential for greatness is unlimited.